Hi, I am pushing the link that was sent to me.
So Melissa,
I'm not sure what I did wrong this time.
we're live right now. Go ahead, Kathy.
Okay, thank you. All right, welcome to the Finance and Administration Committee meeting of the Livermore-Amador Valley Transit Authority. It's May 24th, 2022. And this meeting is going to be conducted via teleconference in accordance with Government Code 54953E2 in order to protect the health and safety of everybody. So if we could have a roll call, please.
Director Hernandez.
Here.
Vice Chair Narum.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Right. Okay, at this time, the meeting is going to be open to the public. Did we have any comments submitted?
So there's no attendees in this meeting today, and I did not receive any public comments via email.
Okay, great. Thank you. So we'll move on to the approval of the minutes from April 26th, 2022.
I will go ahead and move the minutes from our last meeting.
All right, and I'll second it. And if we could do roll call, please.
Yes, Director Hernandez.
Yes.
Vice Chair Narum.
Yes,
Motion passes.
great. So we'll move on to item number 5, the treasurer's report for April 2022.
Okay, presented before you is the April 2022 treasurer's report. At this time, or at the end of April, technically, we were at 64.4% in our expenditures and at 76.1% in our revenues, because once the cash starts flowing, it flows. We have significant balances in all of our bank accounts, and we are in a very healthy financial state.
Melissa, do you have any questions, comments?
I have no questions. Thanks tomorrow.
No problem.
Yep, thank you. I don't have any questions either. It looks good. So do you want to make the motion, Melissa, or would you like me to?
Sure, I can go ahead and make the motion to approve our financial report.
And I'll second that.
Do roll call. Director Hernandez.
Yes.
Vice Chair Narum.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Great. All right. Then let's move on to item 6, which is the 1-year extension for legal services with Hanson Bridget LLP.
All right, so back in 2013, we went out to bid for legal services and awarded the contract to Hanson Bridget. The award was for 3 years and then 7 one-year periods. The initial 3-year period ended back in 2016. This will be the final year of the 1-year extension, so we will have to go out to bid probably this winter is my guess, maybe a little earlier. In our agreement, we increase the contract each year by the CPI from February of that year, which this year was 5.2%. Last year it was 1.6, but this year it is 5.2. So we are recommending that the Finance and Administration Committee recommend that the board approve the last 1-year extension for the legal contract.
Okay. Any thoughts, Melissa?
I just wanted to, so we approved, or we increased it by 5.2%, you said?
Yes, for this next year, based on the CPI from February.
Okay, and we would have to go back out to bid this year, right?
Yes, we'll have to go out to bid so that we can have a whole new contract beginning next July 1st.
Okay, I was just gonna ask, is this about, and like, I mean, the fees, is this average for other transportation companies as well?
The last time I looked, which has actually been probably 2 years, but if they're on a similar increase per year, we were paying less than most of our counterparts. So they are the attorneys for County Connection and Westcat both.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I know that you do a good job about going out and confirming that, but just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. And I'm assuming everybody does the same CPI increase. So it's all kind of based on, where you get in that initial year. So.
Yeah. Okay. I have no further questions, Kathy.
Okay. Do you want to, I don't have any either. You asked my question. So would you like to make the motion again?
Sure. I will go ahead and make the motion to extend the legal services.
I'll second it.
Okay, I'll do the roll call. Director Hernandez,
Aye.
Vice Chair Narum,
Aye.
motion passes.
Great. Okay, and then moving on to the item 7, the annual salary band review for LAVTA.
Okay. So we did as we do every year and went out and did a salary comparison. We used a contractor to do that. And we've had pretty good results. They are not recommending any abnormal changes. The only thing they're recommending a change, and I suspected this was going to happen. We have a position for a capital project specialist, and it's been open for a year. The board approved to add it to our org chart last year, and we have posted it, and it hasn't been filled. In the salary review, the recommendation is actually to move it up to a manager of capital projects. And sorry. And so I would like to do that. And our managers, unlike directors, are non-exempt because this particular position wouldn't supervise anybody, at least not yet, maybe someday. And as far as our salary bands, they didn't see anything abnormal in the salary bands. So the recommendation is to increase it by the CPI, which we use April CPI, which would be 5%. That does not automatically change anyone's salary unless they're at the bottom of the salary band. Nobody is. It moves the bottom up and the top up. So those who are at the top presently would be eligible for a raise, but raises are done based on merit. We don't just give cost of living increases. So any questions?
Melissa?
I have no questions.
So I had a comment which on the capital analyst, looking at this, it really seemed to make sense to move that up a band or a level to get competitive there. And is it fair to say that generally we're paying slightly above the average of the agencies that we surveyed?
Yeah, when you look at total compensation, which includes our benefits, because LAVTA has fabulous benefits. My husband, who's diabetic, reminds me of that all the time, how great our benefits are. Yes, for the most part, we are paying slightly above, not hugely above, but slightly above. There's only a couple positions that when you look at total compensation are below. One being the senior capital project specialist, one being the finance director. But other than that, and some are slightly above. You'll notice our customer service supervisors only 0.3% above, where others are much higher above. So that's, to adjust down is much harder to adjust those positions down. I would like them to look at maybe adding more bands, because maybe the problem is that we have too many positions in the same bands. We don't have a lot of positions. So, they don't like to have bands with just like one position in it. But I almost think that that's what we need to do to kind of smooth things out.
Okay, that makes sense, actually.
Yeah, because you look and you have, two positions in the same band, and one position's 15% above and the other one's just barely above. That just doesn't seem right. So I've asked them to maybe add some bands in there for next year's analysis.
Okay. Sounds good. Melissa, any follow-up?
No, I agree that it's really difficult to ever go back down and
Yeah.
Versus slightly going up. So as we all know, it's very difficult to get good employees just in any type of line, not just in this type of line. But I know that a lot of companies are having some challenging times on hiring, even at the public sector and the private sector. So thank you.
Yeah, I don't know how many, when I'm driving into work and past businesses, how many now hiring, please come apply here. Signed GC. My plan for this position, besides just moving it up a band, is to use a recruitment firm, not one like we're looking at for the executive director position, because that's quite pricey. But I have reached out to another one that is under $10,000. And she works nationwide. I happen to know her because she's tried recruiting me a couple of times for other local positions. So I would like to use a recruitment firm and see if that helps. She did mention that a lot of agencies who are really looking are throwing things out there like relocation being paid, which we can do. We've done in the past. We have great benefits, so I plan to put that out there. This position, she mentioned remote work. This position would really not work for remote work, kind of have to be on site. But in our salary survey, we did ask an additional question, and I didn't include the spreadsheet, but I probably should have, of what are agencies doing, offering their employees. And the majority of our comparator agencies are not offering work from home, which is understandable in this type of industry. But a lot of them are offering 980 schedules. And so that's something when our new executive director's on board that I'd like to bring back after I discuss with them. We used to have a 980 schedule and Michael Tree hated it and got rid of it. So I'd hate to move to do that now. And then the new executive director comes on board and gets rid of it, because again, it's always harder to take away. But that is something that, may help us in the future with recruiting if the new executive director is on board with that. We'll see what happens. So just thought I'd mention it because that is something that comes up every year.
So what's the 980 schedule?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
I just assume everyone works at the lab. So there's two ways to do a 980 schedule, but a 980 is essentially you work 9 out of 10 days. You work, well, actually 8 out of 10 days, you work 9 hours a day. And then then one day you work 8. So what it would be is like you have every other Friday off.
Oh.
But you're still working 40 hours a week. And the last time we did it, where the problem was, and I understood where it bothered Michael, was that half the staff was off one Friday and half the staff was off the other Friday. So if he needed something, he had to remember who was here that Friday. So what I would actually propose is that that everybody be on the same schedule, but rather than having the office open every other Friday and confusing the public, having it closed to the public every Friday. And then having everybody in the office the one Friday, and then essentially nobody in the office the other Friday. We did have some employees who were not interested in the 980 schedule. And so they just worked their regular schedule. And so on that Friday, when everybody else was home, to save electricity, maybe we could let them work from home instead of having the electricity on for 2 people. So that's my thought. I'll bring it back if I can convince the new executive director it's the way to go.
Okay.
So we'll see. That's a ways down the road, but just so you guys have a heads up, and you won't be caught off guard if we bring it up again.
So is the advantage of that somebody who's commuting in, say, from
Stockton, let's say Stockton. We have a bunch from Stockton.
Stockton, it just, it saves them one day of commuting every other week.
Every other week. The other option would be that on that other Friday when everyone's working, we could let everybody work from home so that no one's, except the people who want to, are commuting on Fridays at all. So we have employees in Stockton, and then in the other direction, I think Oakland is the furthest.
Okay.
So that's the advantage. It's just kind of a benefit for employees. It can be disruptive, but if it's done right, it shouldn't be. And when we did it last time with half the people on, half the people off, because the office was open on those Fridays, if say your paratransit person was out, well, the paratransit clients wanted their answers right then.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to wait until the next Monday. So that's why my thought would be to have everybody on the same schedule and close the office on Fridays.
Okay.
Yeah, but I have a question about that, because if a paratransit person needs assistance right away, what do they do?
Well, in general, if they needed assistance right away, they would be talking to dispatch or somebody in reservations. And then that person would have the director's phone number, because as directors, whether we're on a 9A schedule or
Yeah,
not,
your salary.
we're 24/7.
Yeah.
So they would call, in this case, Tone. And so directors, we would have our cell phones on, we have we check our emails on our off days. We're always looking. So if somebody needed something right away, they would know to get a hold of us.
Okay,
So just something to think about.
yeah, it's interesting. Okay, do we,
Oh, yes, I need a motion and approval to recommend approval to the board of directors.
I will go ahead and move item number 7, the salary band review.
and I'll second it.
I'll do roll call. Director Hernandez,
Aye.
Vice Chair Narum,
Aye,
motion passes.
okay. So let's move on to item 8, which is the exercise of the second option year of the contract with MV Transportation.
Hi, good afternoon. So this item before you, this item before you is to approve a contract modification, recommending the board to authorize the interim executive director to exercise the second option year and extend the fixed route O&M services with MV Transportation through June 30th of 2023. So MV has continued to provide quality fixed route operation and maintenance services since being awarded the new contract in 2018. That contract consists of a 3-year base term and 4 one-year option terms. The base term ended last June, so we're currently in the first option year. Since the start of the contract, MV has done a great job in improving quality service, as well as implementing various initiatives to help with employees' retention. More recently, in an effort to better recruit and retain drivers and other operation staff, MV and LAVTA worked to revise and increase the wages to be more locally competitive. The understanding is that these changes would be reflected through any future option years exercised under the existing contract. A copy of the updated monthly fixed fee and variable rate is included in the resolution. That's for the upcoming fiscal year 22-23. So similar to how it's structured in the agreement, the cost is broken up by tier with an increment of plus or minus 10%. So this structure allows LAVTA the flexibility to increase or decrease service without having to renegotiate the cost each time. So with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Melissa?
I have no questions, Kathy.
Yeah, I don't either. If we don't do this, what's our option? To go back out and bid? I'm not sure why we would do that. We're happy, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. All right, well, I will go ahead and make motion to be able to provide the second option year to MV.
I'll second.
I'll do the roll call. Director Hernandez,
Aye.
Vice Chair Narum,
Aye.
motion passes.
Okay, and item 9, the LAVTA Rutan Landscaping Construction Project.
Yes,
Is
so that's me. I brought this to the board a few months ago and you approved the contract and a 15% contingency. And here's what we learned, that I know nothing about landscaping projects. I only took it on because Jennifer Yeamans was too busy and Michael wanted it done right away. And I was like, sure, why not? We'll figure this out. And there were certain items in that bid document because of the way we had to do it, because it had to be completely fair and even. Every item had to have a quantity that they bid on. So I had to know how much dirt they were going to have and what they might find when they dug up the landscaping in terms of the irrigation. So we put those with the attorney's approval. There were 6 items we put down below to be priced out later when we got to them. So we went out to bid. Our lowest bid was like 90 something thousand less than the next lowest bid. The highest bid was actually more than double, which is crazy. I don't know what they were bidding on. But they didn't include the 6 items as they weren't supposed to. In addition to those 6 items, which are more expensive than I would have guessed, but again, I don't have any landscaping experience. My landscaping is actually rock and aluminum flowers, and a dead lawn that will someday be artificial turf. So in addition to that, there was a section that Michael wanted to leave so that the drivers could have some privacy. It's kind of formed a little wall of shrubs. So they could have privacy. It's by the smoking area and by the where we have our outdoor tables for lunch. And so the plan was to leave those. However, between when the architect drew up the plans and now, kind of the inner parts of those plants have started dying off. So they are going to eventually need to be ripped out. On top of that, within those dead parts of the plants was created a rodent condominium complex. And not just squirrels, but rats. And it kind of, as soon as they were like, we should probably take these out. And as soon as they said rodents, I was like, yeah, let's take those out. So we're taking those out, but the drivers and mechanics would still like larger shrubs put in their place, which means we're going to be buying 15-gallon shrubs, which are a little more pricey. It's ridiculous how much plants are to begin with. And this project actually has over 1,000 plants being planted. So yes, yeah, when they broke it out for me, it was kind of eye-popping there. So they removed that. And then there was a tiny section on the very edge of the property that for some reason the architect thought was not our property. But we have this great like drone footage, although it's not actually a drone picture because I don't think drones were around then, this aerial picture of when this building was built. And we were the first building in this entire neighborhood. And you can very clearly see that that was part of our property. The road ended there, but that was part of our property. So they had not in the original bid to rip out those plants and put new plants in there. So this includes ripping out those shrubs, which were huge. And they're going to put in some rose bushes because there are some rose bushes in that area. And they're actually going to donate some rose bushes they have left over from another project. So they'll all look uniform. So anyway, the whole thing is, like I said, much more expensive than I thought. So I'm requesting, in addition to the 15% contingency I already had, $95,048 to cover these additional items, plus with a very small 5% contingency on the new items. The other expensive item, we knew that our backflow probably needed to be repaired. Our prior landscaper actually did the test before this project started, and it needs to be replaced. So that's a little more pricey as well. So, but it's still, even with all these additional items, it's still only 12,000 more than the second lowest bid. So we're pretty sure that it's in line. It's not, they're not overcharging us because like I said, that second lowest bid also didn't include these 6 items. So it was quite an experience going out to bid. Michael thought it would be much less, but yeah, here we are.
So are we using the same person?
The same contractor, the lowest bid. Yes, it's all through the contractor who bid on the original contract with the lowest bid.
Well, I'm just wondering, okay, so first of all, rodents love, and I'm not a big landscape architect person either, but I will tell you because I like spending a lot of time in my backyard, is rodents love these type of like bushes, right? So like jasmine and anywhere they can actually sleep in and produce or multiply. And they just love hanging out there.
Yeah.
So we may want to be careful on what we're actually going to put in there.
Yeah, they're going to bring me the shrubs to choose from. And my plan was tall but skinny, I guess, if that makes sense, not the real bushy. All of our other plants are very low to the ground and smaller plants. But these ones, you know, because the drivers want a taller plant, I was hoping to not have super bushy. Just because I don't want the same issue. I also think part of the issue is because they were so bushy, people were throwing garbage in there because when they ripped them out, there was a ton of chip bags, candy wrappers. I mean, so
yeah, I have a
something where I can
courthouse that
see.
people love
Yep.
People love to throw their garbage on my corner house.
Yep.
And I pulled out my bushes because of that reason.
Yep. Yeah. I'm at a corner house right by an elementary school. Same problem. So yeah, I would like skinny bushes so that we're not having that problem of them throwing garbage in there. It was really disturbing to find out that our employees were causing part of the problem.
I would put big garbage cans out there.
Oh yeah, we got garbage cans all over. We have things to put cigarette butts in. Those bushes were full of cigarette butts.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. You can't
Okay.
walk 3 feet to put it in the right place. It's crazy.
It's more fun to throw the butt.
Yes. And I've told them no more burning bushes because you walk by and the bushes are smoking.
Yeah.
But they still do it.
You know, I will tell you, we should go by Supervisor Nate Miley's office, and he provides, there are these cute little plastic, tiny handheld garbage cans, and they are for for people to put cigarettes out. Just
that'd be
FYI,
awesome.
because he said, he's like, he doesn't personally smoke, but he believes that, that's garbage.
Yeah.
And, so he actually gives out these little garbage cans. I'll have to send you a picture because I have one. I had to just take it from one of his events because I'm like, this is a really good idea. So you may want to get some of those for them.
Yeah. We only have a handful of smokers. So that would be great. Here's your own garbage can. Use it.
Yeah. They're little mini, like handheld.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
All
That's
right.
a good idea.
I would just
Anyway.
caution, be careful in the bushes because, they love certain types because then they
Yeah.
can just go in there and hide out.
I'll get with the landscapers and see if there's anything that maybe because of smell or something deters them. That would be a good idea. But I haven't picked the plants out yet for that section. They're going to bring them to me later. So I will definitely look into that because these are right outside my office. I don't want rodents out there.
Oh. So Tamara, is this contractor with this additional money confident that, everything's been covered or will be covered? In other words, we're not going to have to
Yeah.
come back and have a second.
That is his claim, that he put it all in one, that it was final. There's literally nothing else he can rip out. And he's not allowed to come back and say like, oh, the plants got more expensive since we bid. Yeah, sorry to hear that. So no, this is it. It includes all 6 items that were called out. So I asked for 5% just in case, like, there was something weird. But I've told him that this is it. So
Okay. Well, I'm sure it's going to be lovely once it's done.
yes, the drawings are very pretty. So it's going to be very colorful, which I'm excited about.
Okay.
All right, so I need a recommendation to the board to approve this item, please.
I will go ahead and approve. I mean, I would just make sure that's the lowest price you can go. Just because it was kind of his mistake that he did not see that particular area.
Well, that wasn't him. That was the architect.
Oh, that was the architect.
Right. He bid based off of the drawings that we gave him that left those in there. Oh, and the other area, yeah, that was the architect. The architect kept insisting that we did not own that piece of land. And I was like, that's really weird because the shrubbery matches our other shrubbery.
Yeah.
And so when we finally pulled the what do you call them? The plot maps. And then that aerial photograph, I was like, no, we do own that piece of land. So it's a very small piece of land. That part of it was actually a very small part of the cost.
Okay. So I will go ahead and approve item number 9, the landscaping construction, to go to the full board.
I'll second it.
A roll call, Director Hernandez,
Aye.
Vice Chair Narum,
Aye.
motion passes.
Great. Okay. Any discussion on upcoming agenda items for the committee?
I don't have any.
Tamara, Tony, any?
Well, our upcoming meetings, we just have in June, the treasurer's report, LAAF. The legal contract just got done. And possibly, I think the SGR funding resolution will come next month as well, if I write that up. And then in July, unless something comes up, we will be canceling the July committee meetings and then the August board meeting like we usually do. And then other than that, we've just got our minutes and treasurer's report planned until our annual comprehensive financial report in October. Having that July off also enables staff to work on the year-end closeout and the financial statements.
Okay, right. Melissa, anything you want to initiate? Any matters?
I do not. Thank you.
Okay, I don't either. So I think with that, unless there's anything else, we'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
See you soon.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.